Remaining all things are same. So what are the problems I talked in what above? Writing multiple logics in single class can be solved by using what? Layered application. But how data will be carried among these layers, across these layers? Simple thing. Okay. More than three values we never take as Java method parameters. We always try to pass the data as a Java bean class object. Client application passes more than three values to controller as a VO class object. Controller passes more than three values to service class as a DTO class object. Service class passes more than three values to DAO class as a BO class object. And BO class talks to database software. So what do you mean by is developing this application in Spring? If you observe very carefully, if you observe very carefully, DAO is dependent to service. Service is dependent to controller. So that means we need to think about real-time dependency injection, injecting DAO to service class to controller class. Got the point, guys? Now, later we started understanding what is DAO class. The Java class that separate persistence logic from other logic of application and makes those logics as reusable and flexible logics to modify is called as what? DAO. We can write persistence logic in DAO class using any persistence technology, using like what? JDBC, Spring JDBC, Spring ORM, and etc. Now listen. If project is having less than 100 DB table, then we take 1 DAO class per 1 DB table. If project is having greater than or equal to 100 DB tables, from my side volume is good. Check your side, my dear. Then we take 1 DAO class per 4-5 related DB tables. 4-5 DB tables. Every DAO class contains two parts, guys. One is query part, one is code part. What do you mean by query part, guys? Okay. One is query part, other one is code part. All SQL queries will be placed at the top of the class as SQL. Code part. Come on, guys. All persistence logic, insert, update, delete, establishing connection, closing connection. This kind of logics will be there in what? Business methods. Business, that means methods of the DAO class. Service class is a Java class that contains purely business logic or service logic, like calculations and what? Sonu Gupta, other day you asked same question. Today also you are asking same question. 4-5 related tables persistence operation will be written in single DAO. That means insert, update, delete, select operations of 4-5 tables together written in single DAO. So for example, insert operation separate method, update operation separate method. Okay, like this 4 tables related insert operation. Okay, 4 tables related update operation will be written in single DAO. I think other day also you are the exact persons raised the same question and I clarified with you same. Please focus. Every day fresh day means we cannot go further. Please guys, everyone be alert and focus. Yes. Yes, guys. Yeah. Yeah, gets inputs from service class. Sorry. Gets inputs from controller as a DTO object. Gives inputs or results to DAO as BO class object. Okay. Next we have a controller, guys. It's a Java class that contains monitoring or controlling logics. This class links appropriate client application with appropriate service classes and vice versa. Vice versa means reverse also true, guys. This is generally one per project. In case of front controller, one per project. This class gets inputs from client application or UI components in web application. This class gives results gathered from service class, gives back to the client application. Yeah. Just observe the layered application diagram, this flow, you'll understand. Lastly, what is client application, guys? Contains logic to create IOC container and logic to get controller class object. Contains presentation logic to inputs to controller and gather outputs from what? Controller class. So if someone asks the question, how did you use dependency injection in your Spring project? Then I have developed what? Project having multiple layers. There you have to say DAO class object injected to service, service class object injected to what? Controller. So you can give this generic answer because any domain, these layers are common, boss. Now come to the actual discussion. One more background preparation, guys. What is today's date, guys? 12th. Real-time DI, layered application, mini project. Okay. Saturday notes not available in FB group. Who said like that? It's there. Check it out. Okay. Strategy DP. Uploaded. Check it out. Maybe I might have uploaded a bit lately. Now listen, guys. One more background preparation. Then I will give storyboard. I'll take today, tomorrow, 2 days. Acha, let me announce before I forget. So tomorrow festival is there. It's big festival for Telugu people. I think for rest of the India also big festival. In Maharashtra it is called Gudi Padwa, right? Okay, that's why we don't have classes tomorrow, boss. For entire institute it is holiday. For entire institute it is holiday, but day after tomorrow we have classes. Okay, in some states it is called Kar. In some states it is called Gudi Padwa. Fine, right. No, actually, this is actual our mm, this is actual our India New Year, boss. How Chinese how Chinese are celebrating Chinese New Year and how like other countries are celebrating their local New Years. It is actually New Year in India. Right. Now, shall we get into the discussion? Yeah. JDBC connection pool and JDBC data source. Okay, guys. Okay, let's try to understand what is JDBC connection pool first. JDBC connection pool is a factory that contains set of readily available JDBC connection objects before actually being used. that contains set of readily available JDBC connection objects before actually being used. There are some advantages with the JDBC connection pool. I will take one by one. A pool means set of same items. Cache means set of different items. You are already aware of all this stuff. I hope you are aware of all this knowledge, right? JDBC connection pool is a factory that contains set of readily available JDBC connection objects before actually being used. Before actually being used. Advantages of JDBC connection pool. Advantages of JDBC connection pool. Yeah. Advantages of JDBC connection pool. Number one, gives the reusability of JDBC connection objects. Number two, with minimum JDBC connection objects, we can make maximum requests. We can make maximum requests or client applications talking to database software. Listen, guys, user usability of JDBC connection objects. By keeping 100 connection objects in the connection pool ready, I can make 1,000 requests, 1,000 client application talking to database software. Not at a time, but all 1,000 clients, all 1,000 requests will not talk to database software at a time. I will analyze how many requests are coming at a time maximum. How many clients are showing interest to talk with the database software at a time maximum. By just keeping those number of JDBC connection objects, we can make maximum clients talking to database software, maximum applications talking to database software. I'll take one small example. You take a classroom, boss. Classroom and chairs. Okay, the chairs kept in classroom will give reusability or not? Each chair will be used for attending one class or lots of classes in a day now. Speak out. Lots of classes in a day. Please be alert, everyone. Please be alert. Lots of. That means chairs are giving reusability or not? Now tell me next. Though per day 6-7 classes are happening, by just keeping 200 chairs in the classroom, per day we can give service to what? 1,400 students or not? That means with minimum chairs, we can make maximum students attending the classes. Maximum student. Let us assume there is a class of 200 students. There is a class of what? 200 students. Are you listening my statement, boss? Okay, per day 7 classes are happening. Management ask, a student bring your own chair. Total how many chairs are required? I'll just guess it as a funny statement. Class of 200, 7 sessions are happening, 1,400 chairs are required. When if students started purchasing on their own? No. They asked, they said to student, we will arrange. We will arrange, you don't purchase. Now tell me how many chairs are required? 200. Same 200 chairs are used for 7 classes. That means total 1400 students got benefited or not. That means with minimum chairs, maximum student have taken benefit or not. Okay, everywhere Java is there. You have to notice it. That's it. Hmm. Creating JDBC connection object. Managing JDBC connection object. And closing JDBC connection object. Kind of operations will be taken care by JDBC connection pool. Okay, JDBC connection pool. That uh, this burden from the programmer will be removed. This burden from the programmer will be removed. Look at the chair example. Purchasing chair, managing chair. If chair is class is over, removing chair from the classroom. All these things will be done by student or Naresh IT team. All these things will be done by student or Naresh IT team. Naresh IT will take care of those activities or not. Or the school or university administration people will take care of this work or not. Now tell me. So now creating new connection object, managing that connection object, if needed, destroying that connection object. So all the things are done by whom? JDBC connection pool. Got the point or not there? Yes, boss. Okay. Array, basically it looks like this, boss. JDBC connection. Ramji N. Ramji N. JDBC connections are different, internet connections are different. Come on, guys. JDBC connections are for database connectivity. Internet connections are for connectivity between browser and website. Please don't mix up both. Ramji, I didn't expect this question from you, boss. Okay. Yes, boss. Now listen. All JDBC connection objects in the JDBC connection pool. All the JDBC connection objects in the JDBC connection objects. Come on. In the JDBC connection object represents connectivity with connectivity with same database software. Come on, guys. Represents connectivity with the same database software. Okay. That means represent connection. For example, okay, for example, JDBC connection pool. Everyone focus. for Arakill means, okay na, JDBC connection pool for Arakill means, okay, all the JDBC connection objects in that JDBC connection pool represents, everyone switch off your videos, connectivity with same Arakill database software. Represents connectivity with the same Arakill database software. Right. We can take multiple JDBC connection pool for multiple database softwares. Example, JDBC connection pool for Oracle, JDBC connection pool for MySQL, JDBC connection pool for PostgreSQL, and etc. JDBC connection pool for Oracle, JDBC connection pool for MySQL, JDBC connection pool for this one, guys. Now listen. Yes, we can configure parameters for JDBC connection pool. What are those one? Initial size. What kind of parameter? Initial size. 10. What's the meaning of 10? If I give initial size 10, if I give initial size 10, the pool, when pool is created, connection pool is created, by default 10 connection objects will be there. I hope you are understanding my point there. Right. Initial size 10. Array, next one. Max capacity. Max capacity or max size. Okay. Suppose I have given 200 or 100. So it can grow up to 100 connection objects. It can grow up to 100 connection objects. Capacity increment. Capacity increment or increment capacity, whatever it is. Capacity increment, come on. I'm requesting everyone first listen, then ask the next questions. Please, I'm seeing so many people. If I start one, before I get into two only, they are asking, what is that? What is this? Before you put any question in the chat box, I request you people to give time to yourself for 10 minutes. I'm telling this by seeing Anil question. I'm requesting everyone, before you write in the chat box, wait for 5 to 10 minutes. I have written initial size capacity. What happens if if all connection are busy? If what happens if connection object is not ready? Please, guys, please. I'm happy you are very much excited to learn, but there is an order of learning. And if you don't respect it, class becomes fish market. Really, class looks like a fish market. Please don't make classroom as a fish market. I request everyone. When you get a doubt, please hold it for 5 to 10 minutes. Because 99.99% your doubts will be clarified in next 5 to 10 minutes discussion. Still, I am not touching the subject in the angle you want. Definitely you have a right to ask the question. Definitely you have a right to ask the question. I typed X, you are talking question about Y. I typed Y, you are talking question about Z. It's not going to work out. You are not listening properly and you are not letting me to talk properly. Please, when you get a doubt, please hold it for 5 minutes. Okay, guys. Capacity increment, boss. Capacity increment. Now listen to. I will take a small use case here. What is the meaning of to, boss? Suppose 15 connection objects are already there in the connection pool and they are busy with 15 client application already. 16th client came. 16th client came. So any free connection object? No. But free space is there in the connection pool? Yes. Okay. What it has to do? It has to create 16th connection object. But it won't just create 16th connection object, boss. It will create each time two connection objects. Whenever need is there to create new connection objects, it will try to think about two connection objects at a time. It will try to think about creating two connection objects at a time. Are you listening my statement? Once again, listen carefully. How many connection objects are already there? 15. Whether they are idle or busy, yes, they are busy with 15 client application. New client has come. Okay, for new client, it will verify is there any free connection object? No. So then it has to create a new connection object because max capacity is 100. But it won't just create one connection object, it will create two connection object at a time. If there is a need of creating new JDBC connection object, it will try to create two connection objects at a time. Understanding my point there? Yes. If there is a need of creating new JDBC connection object, then it will create two JDBC connection objects at a time. Then it will create two JDBC connection objects at a time. Initial size 10, max capacity 100, capacity increment. Next one, boss, shrink frequency. Shrink frequency. Suppose I have given 900 seconds. I have given 900 seconds. For every 900 seconds, it will check, are there any idle connection objects in the connection pool? They will be destroyed. Why they should be destroyed, sir? I will tell the case. University website is there. University website is there. In regular days, daily 100 people, 200 people visit the website to avail the services. But exam results are populated to university website, guys. Those days, how many people will visit? Thousands of people will visit. Yes, na? Thousands of people will visit. Okay, let's take the case. Let us take the case. University application is there. There I have taken initial capacity as 100, max capacity as what? 3000. Max capacity as 3000. Okay, on the day of results, come on the day of results, so many people started using application. So that's why all 300 connection objects are full busy daytime. All 3,000 connection objects are full busy morning to evening. Let us assume. Because though university is having 10,000, 20,000 students, but all students will not come at a time now, boss. That's why they have taken max capacity of what? 3,000 only. So morning to evening, all 3,000 connection objects are full busy. Cool. Evening 5 o'clock, all people have seen the results. Maybe 1, 2 people are left. So now tell me, guys, 300 connection objects are already created. So they will be sitting idle or not? Once work is over, they will be sitting idle or not? Such connection object should be deleted at regular intervals. Such kind of connection object should be deleted at regular interval. After every 900 seconds, come on, it will check, are there any connection objects idle, and such connection objects will be destroyed at regular intervals. Are you getting my point there or not? See, all permutation and combinations are covered here. Okay, guys. For every 900 seconds, the ideal JDBC connection objects in JDBC connection pool will be destroyed. The ideal JDBC connection objects in JDBC connection pool will be destroyed. Everyone got the clarity? Now listen. By default, classroom contain 10 chairs and classroom can have maximum of 100 chairs. When there is a need of arranging new chair, we don't arrange one chair at a time. We will try to arrange two chairs at a time. Okay. For every 900 seconds, my administrator of classroom will modify, will observe, are there any idle chairs? Are there any idle chairs? If they are there, he will remove them. If they are there, he will remove them. I hope you are understanding my statement. These are called connection pool parameters. There are other parameters also, but these are very, very important parameters, boss. Okay, boss. Now listen. Data source object represents JDBC connection pool and it acts as entry point for JDBC connection pool. It acts as entry point for JDBC connection pool. That means that means okay guys, that means all the operations on JDBC connection pool on the connection pool can be done through data source object. Can be done through data source object. Yes, boss. Data source object means it is the object of Java class that implements javax.sql.data source interface. Yes. Okay, javax.sql.data source interface. So that means you want to do anything on the connection pool, you have to use data source object, boss. And one more point you remember, guys, though all idle connection are removed, but it always maintain 10 connection objects minimum, boss. Though our idle are busy, initial size connection objects by default will be there in the connection pool. I hope you are understanding. Though it is deleting all the idle connection objects, but it never touch, okay, it never touch initial size JDBC connection object. So they will be always there to get used by different people in emergency or in a faster utilization mode. Right. Now listen carefully, boss. So this is my data source object, which is also called JDBC data source object. Yes, this is definitely represents one or other JDBC connection. JDBC connection pool. Okay, guys. Connection, connection, connection connection. Suppose if you feel JDBC data source object is DS. Nice. Nice. Here is my word. Connection con is equal to ds dot get connection. Yes, what this line will do, guys? It gets one connection object, gets one JDBC connection object from JDBC connection pool. Gets one JDBC connection object from JDBC connection pool. And there is one more line, con dot close. What this will do, guys? Releases the JDBC connection object back to JDBC connection. Releases the back to JDBC connection pool. Clear, guys? Everyone understanding my statement? Okay. So now listen. Two types of JDBC connection objects are there. Two types of JDBC connection objects are there. Number one, direct to JDBC connection. Are you understanding my point there? Okay, guys. JDBC connection object, come on. Direct to JDBC connection object, guys. Direct to JDBC connection object. Okay. Created by the application manually. Created by the application manually. Okay. Next. Class dot for name. Here, loading of driver class, guys. Loading of driver class. Connection con is equal to driver manager dot get connection. URL db user db password. I hope you are understanding my statement. So this is called direct JDBC connection object, boss. This is called direct JDBC connection object. Yes, boss. Okay. Direct to JDBC connection object. I hope you are understanding my statement. Which? Direct to JDBC connection object. Next one is what, guys? Pooled JDBC connection object. Next one is what? Pooled JDBC connection object. Yes. It is the JDBC connection object that is gathered from JDBC connection pool. Array, this above one is called what? Pooled JDBC connection object, guys. So how you write that one? Connection con is equal to ds dot get connection. What is that, boss? Connection con is equal to ds dot get connection. Are you understanding my statement, boss? Come on. Connection con is equal to ds dot get connection. This gives me one pooled JDBC connection object. Right. Okay. Pooled JDBC connection object. Is that clear, my dears? Okay. Now listen. Listen. Spring gives Spring gives one built-in data source class, guys. What, guys? Built-in JDBC data source class pointing to JDBC connection pool. Yes, you need not to go anywhere, guys. Spring itself. Come on. Okay, Spring itself is giving built-in data source class pointing to JDBC connection pool. Okay, pointing to JDBC connection pool. Yes, we need to create object for this class directly or indirectly. Directly means you created. Indirectly means Spring container created. And when there is a class, if you configure as a Spring Bean, come on, Spring Bean, automatically container creates the object or not. We need to create object for this class directly or indirectly by supplying JDBC driver details. What details, guys? JDBC driver details of certain database software. Then it internally creates. Okay, then it internally creates. Come on, guys. Then it internally creates data source object pointing to JDBC connection pool of, okay, that certain database software. Suppose if I give JDBC driver details of Oracle, that it will create JDBC data source object pointing to JDBC connection pool for Oracle. Come on, guys. Okay. If I give MySQL driver details, guys, it will create data source object pointing to what? JDBC connection pool of MySQL database software. If I pass PostgreSQL details, same thing will be applicable, boss. Same thing will be applicable. Okay. Right. Now listen carefully. In Spring programming, we configure data source class as the Spring Bean. To let the IOC container creating object for data source class. Are you understanding my statement? Come on. Okay. Data source object. Creating object for data source class. And to inject to, come on, to inject that data source object to DAO class. Are you listening? Alright, now DAO needs a data source object or not? Who needs connection? Who needs to use connection object? DAO, right? So now I'm going to take data source as dependent class to DAO, boss. Data source class to dependent class to DAO class. Are you getting my point? In Spring programming, we configure Data source class as spring bean, spring bean, spring bean class to let the IOC container creating object for data source class and to inject that object to what DAO class. Yes, boss. Now I'm introducing one more combination. What is that? Data source require DAO needs a data source. So data source class is dependent class, DAO class is target class. Are you listening my statement, guys? Now listen, listen. Okay. In Spring Bean configuration file, everyone focus. So there is a predefined class, guys. Any predefined class of Spring we can get from internet. Directly help you can get from internet. Okay. Driver manager data source. That is a class name, guys. That class internally implements data source interface, docs. Driver manager data source, you type and write docs. You will automatically get the API documentation straight away from internet. Driver manager data source, implementing what interface, guys? Data source interface. So indirectly, its object is data source object or not. Its object is data source object. But it has to, whenever this object is created internally, it has to create connection pool pointing to certain database software. How does it knows what is that database software? So based on the JDBC driver details we pass. How do you pass them, sir? Array, we can pass them through setter injection. We can pass them to setter injection. Array, to perform setter injection, setter method should be there na, sir. Don't worry. In this class, lot of setter methods are there. We can use them. If you don't have, we can use inherited setter method also for setter injection. Go to the methods list. Set driver class name. There are? Yes. Set driver class name. There are not there. We are having set driver class name. Look at, click on this point. Set driver class name is there or not there? The indirectly setter method is there or not there? But what it is expecting string. String means what? Set driver class name is a simple property or object type property? Simple property. If it is a simple property, what I should use? Value attribute or ref attribute? If it is a simple property, I should use what? Value attribute or ref attribute? Before I scold you people, please be active in the classroom. Please set driver class name. See, boss, whether you are working, student, completed post graduation, your age is 30 or 40, it really don't bother. If I don't get reply, I will scold. I'm seriously telling. Later, please don't take in a hurting manner. So I am a 35 years old person, 40 years old person. Why are you scolding us? I'll definitely scold if you are not responding and if you are not active in the classroom. Okay, boss. See, guys, it's a simple property. If you are active in the chat box, if you are answering my question, you will be thinking about subject. If you are just listening, once in a while your brain may think about office, your brain may think about here and there. So please stay active by staying active in the chat box, especially while replying my questions. Yes, boss. Tell me string driver class name. That means this setter method is there to inject the values to object type property or simple property. Object type property or simple property. Definitely it is there to inject the values to simple property. Now listen here. Set URL, set username, set password. We are having other things or not? So they are not direct method, inherited method. No problem. They can also be used for injection. They can also be used for injection. So it's a lengthy package, guys. Okay. javax dot sql dot data source. Okay. Setter methods are used for setter injection. Are javax means extended Java package, ra babu. Don't worry much. Don't worry much. Okay. What is the other class name? I think I have taken copy of it. Yes. javax.sql.data source. This is my class. This class implements data source interface. This class implements data source interface. Come on, guys. So here are the properties. Driver class name, URL, username, password. These are the properties, boss. Okay, properties. So having setter methods. Support setter injection. Having setter method to support setter injection. Setter injection. Okay, now one more thing, guys. This class is there in which jar file? There is a jar file. This predefined class. Predefined class of Spring API. Available in Spring hyphen JDBC hyphen version dot jar file. Spring hyphen JDBC hyphen version dot jar file. But unfortunately, Spring hyphen TX hyphen version dot jar file is dependent jar file. Spring hyphen TX hyphen version dot jar file is dependent jar file. So this is the dependent jar file to JDBC jar, guys. So that means you should add both. You should add both. If your application is using third-party API related both dependent and target, both main and dependent jar file should be added. Your application uses main jar content, guys, but classes of main jar is using class of dependent jar. So that what? So for that for to support that, what you should do? You should add both main and dependent jar files to the class path. You must add both main and dependent jar files to the class. I hope you are understanding my statement, boss. It's something like this. It's something like this, guys. During college days, you might have experienced this kind of environment. Uh, uh, you asked one friend, Array friend, friend, come to me, ra, I have small work. Okay, please do with me. Then he will say, sorry, ra, I cannot come alone with you. My other two friends have come. Okay, by keeping them alone, I cannot come with you. So indirectly, what signal is passing, boss? You call all the three people, then we will come. If you call me alone, I am not going to come. Understanding my statement? The same thing here also. Our application uses classes of Spring hyphen JDBC hyphen version dot jar. The classes of Spring hyphen JDBC hyphen version dot jar is using classes of Spring hyphen transaction hyphen version dot jar. Are you getting my point? So indirectly our application is using both jar file content. So you have to add both main and dependent jar files to the class path. Clear, boss? Okay. So now let me give the statement. If the application uses any API, any API, then that API related both main and dependent jars must be added to class path or build path. Both main and dependent jar file must be added to class path or build path. Yes, guys. Now you observe. Everyone, please observe, guys. How to write this one as a class in the this one. Okay. Bean ID, driver manager, data source. Driver manager, data source. DMDS. Something. Class is equal to fully qualified class name you have to write. First time I am taking Spring supplied predefined class, guys. Right. Tell me, are you looking for empty data source object pointing to empty connection pool? No. I am looking for data source object pointing to connection pool. In that connection pool, connection objects of certain database software is required. Are you understanding my point? Yes. So that's why how does it will create those connection objects, guys? Property name is equal to driver class name. Value is equal to. Sir, method is set driver class name. Why are you writing driver class name like this? Are set driver class name means set method you remove. Remaining thing will look like a property name. Na? Sir, I have one more question. That is, I found D. Come on, come on, come on. I found D capital, but sorry, you have written D small letter here. Array, setter method is given according to Java method conventions. Java method conventions. Are you listening my statement or not? So second word onwards, every word starting letter will be uppercase. But as a property, that is lowercase only. As a method, second word onwards, every word starting letter is uppercase. I hope you are understanding. Right. Driver class name is the property. Set driver class name is the setter method on it. Okay. JDBC colon Arakil colon thin colon @localhost colon 1521 colon XC. Are some URL ra babu. XC is my SID. Remaining details are anyhow you know that. I think everyone is aware of these details, na boss. If you don't know some JDBC related information, don't worry. Oh, I think it's my mistake. 1 minute. It is this driver class name, na? Arakil.jdbc.driver.arakil driver. Property name is equal to driver class name. Property name is equal to here is what? Name is not our wish. Name is not our wish. In predefined class, how user defined properties will be there? Ra. Okay. Right. Next one. Say paste. These are fixed properties. Use some common sense. In predefined class, do you think user defined properties will be there? Right. Username. System. In my computer system. Password manager. Password is manager. Are you getting my statement there, guys? Come on. Are you understanding my statement there, guys? Yeah, tell me. When container create object for this class, data source object is created. And in that process, what happened? In that process, it internally creates JDBC connection pool for Oracle, having connection objects for Oracle. Having connection objects for Oracle. Are you understanding my statement? Okay, listen carefully. In this class, we don't have initial size, max size kind of properties, because this is not a perfect JDBC connection pool, guys. Okay, this is only for testing purpose. This connection, this data source connection pool is not so useful in the real time production environment. What environment, guys? Production environment. Is that clear, guys? It is only for testing purpose. Okay, it cannot be used in production environment. In production environment, other connection pools are there. I will introduce after 1-2 sessions. Not today. I'll introduce after 1-2 session. This is only for testing environment. Only in the development and testing we use it. In production environment, we go for other thing. Listen to me carefully, boss. Okay. This class, this class generated JDBC connection pool is not perfect JDBC connection pool because it is not providing parameters like initial size, max capacity, and etc. So use it only in development environment, development comma testing environment, not in production environment. Not in production environment. I hope you are understanding my statement. So big discussion is there about this class. For the timing, you just keep this one in mind. Right. Okay, boss. I think you got the idea. First time I am configuring one Spring supplied predefined class. One Spring supplied predefined class over here. So now listen. Okay. We can use either direct or inherited setter methods while 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 performing setter injection configuration on Spring Bean class. What class, guys? Simply on Spring Bean class, we can do setter injection configuration. Not only by using direct setter method, or we can use what? Inherited setter methods also. I think you convinced it with my statement, guys. Come on. Okay, guys. Now listen, let us assume. Okay. So let it be, guys. I think everyone clear on data source and connection pool, boss? Everyone clear on data source and connection pool. Sir, how to inject this data source to DAO we will discuss later. I'll come to that one later. So this is another discussion. First we understood what are the layers and how to pass the data across the layers. Now we got the idea about what? Data source. We seriously got the idea about the data source. Now one more small concept is there. Then I will give the storyboard of the application. Everyone, please focus. This is very important. It is quite related to exception handling, and you have to focus like anything, boss. Suppose I have a DAO class, some class, DAO or some other class, guys. Okay, public class, employee DAO, something. Public class, employee DAO. Here I have a method, public int insert. Public int insert. Tell me how DAO gets inputs from service class, BO class. Employee BO. Something. Why insert method return type is int, boss? Simple reason. JDBC code, after inserting record by calling execute update method, either we will get the 0 or 1. 1 for successful insertion, okay, 0 for failure insertion. That's why I'm taking int. Because I said na, in DAO except persistence logic, no other logic should be there. What is BO, sir? Array, if service class wants to send more than inputs to DAO, more than 3 inputs to DAO, how it will send? As a BO class object only it will send. Come on. How it will send, guys? As a BO class object only it will send. Right. So this BO contains only one value, or there is a chance of having multiple values. Definitely there is a chance of having multiple values. Okay. So now here some JDBC code to insert the record. Some JDBC code to insert the record. JDBC code to insert the record. Array, JDBC code through checked exceptions or unchecked exceptions? The exceptions in JDBC are checked or unchecked. The exceptions in JDBC are checked or unchecked. Checked. So when they are checked, we should catch and handle them or not? When they are checked exception, we should catch and handle them or not? Yes, boss. That's why what I have written like this. Catch SQL exception SC. SC dot print stack trace. SC dot print stack trace. Listen. Then catch exception E. E dot print stack trace. E dot print stack trace. Are you understanding my statement, boss? Exception raised, control gone to catch block. Yes? What do you say, my dear? Okay. So right now I'm explaining the problem, boss. Everyone focus. The overall discussion name is exception propagation. You'll enjoy like anything, but first you have to focus. Propagation. So first of all, tell me typical layered application is what? Client application, boss. Talks to controller. Controller talks to service class. Service class talks to DAO. Yes, DAO talks to database software. And DAO even uses data source. DAO even uses data source for to get the connection object. This is data source. Hey, data source won't talk to database software. Using data source, it will get one connection object from connection pool. And using that connection object, it will write remaining JDBC code, and that code will interact with the database software. So that's why don't write DAO to data source to database. That will be wrong intention, boss. So DAO uses data source to get one connection object. Using that connection object by writing other JDBC code, it will make DAO talking to database software. I hope you convinced, my dears. Okay. I hope you convinced it clearly, boss. Client controller service class DAO. DAO talks to database software. Yes. Here is the problem. Yes. What is the problem? Sir, I'm not finding any problem. It's good, perfect code. Array, exception raised. Control go on to catch block. Yes. Exception is suppressed in the DAO itself, na boss. Sir, what else we can do? Checked exception. Now we have to write try catch only. I have a simple question. You are giving inputs from where, guys? Client. We are expecting output from where? Client. If any problems are there in the execution of the code, end user expects problems where? End user expects problems where? Through client only. Array, when you are giving inputs from client, outputs are coming from client. If any problem is there, end user wants to know through client only, na? Come on, guys. From where you are giving inputs, there only expects output. So output not came, some problem came. So end user wants to know problem through client only, na? But you have written this kind of stupid code in the DAO class. What is that? Ah, tell me. We have written this stupid code in the DAO class. Why it is stupid code? Exception raised in the insert method. Let us assume control goes to catch block. Control goes to catch block. Control goes to catch block, and exception is eaten here itself. Exception is suppressed here itself. Or if you suppress the exception in the DAO itself, how does it will go to client Babu? You are suppressing here only, na? I know some of my people are already aware of it. I'm talking about remaining people, newcomers. Very popular interview question it is. How do you propagate exception raised in DAO to client, DAO to servlet, DAO to JSP? They will ask this question like anything in the interview room. Come on, guys. Here exception is raised. Exception came to this catch block. Here exception is suppressed. If you suppress the exception in the DAO itself, how does that goes to service? How does service gives to controller? How does controller gives to client? If it is not coming to client, how do you display for end user? How do you display for end user? Are you listening my statement? So that's why, what is the suggestion, in DAO service controller classes, don't catch and handle the exception. Declare the exception to be thrown using throws. Declare the exception to be thrown using throws. So what happened? The exception raised in DAO will be propagated towards service. Propagating means passing. Here also, if you don't catch and handle, it will be propagated to whom? Controller. There also, if you don't catch and handle, it will be propagated to whom? Client. So that client we can catch it. In client we can catch it. Are you understanding my point? And we can display the message as expected by end user, as required for the end user. I hope you are getting my point. Yes, boss. So very popular interview question. So what should I do? This is the problem code. What is the solution code? I'll give better solutions later. First solution, level 1 solution you try to understand. Public class employee DAO, public int insert, employee BO throws exception, throws exception. Yes, enough. JDBC code to insert record. Tell me, guys, what happens whenever exception is raised in the insert method? Since I am not catching and handling exception, the exception will be going to whom? Caller. Who is the caller? Service. There also I say throws exception. So from there it will go to whom? It's a caller, controller. There also I will say what? Throws exception. So from there it will go to whom, guys? It's a caller. Who is that? Client. In the client we catch and handle exception. So ultimately, problem raised in the DAO is propagated to client or not. Is propagated to client or not through service and controller. Say something, my dear. Say something, my dear. Sanjay, at the end we can close the connection. Are you getting my point, guys? No, this is the solution one only. This is the solution one. Can I give solution two? This is solution one. Solution one. Good but not great. Good but not great. Okay, guys. Propagation message. Hare, when exception goes along with the message goes na boss. Exception goes along with the message will go. Anyhow, client we are writing try catch. In the catch block, we can display the custom message also, right? Sir, this is solution one, but we are losing option to close the JDBC objects. Okay. Since no try catch finally blocks. Okay. We are losing. We are losing option to close JDBC objects. We are losing option to close JDBC objects. Solution 2 is very interesting, guys. Let's see. Solution 2. What is that solution to, you know? Public class employee DAO. Public class employee DAO. Public int insert employee BO. Listen, you keep throws, guys. You keep throws exception, guys. That's one cool. Another cool thing is, you know, you write try, guys. Seriously, sir. You write try, guys. In the catch block, you write SQL exception. You say print stack trace. Print stack trace. But you rethrow the same exception back to next caller. Throw SC. Throw SC. This is called exception rethrowing. Exception rethrowing. I think you are getting my point or not. Are you getting my point or not? Come on. Convinced or not? Exception raised. Control came to catch block. Come on. Catch block. You can use try with resource also. You can use try with resource also. Okay. So from here it will rethrow to the service class. Service class anyhow it will rethrow to the controller. Controller will rethrow to the client one. So client will catch and handle the exception. Come on, come on. This is very interesting discussion, boss. Uh, Catch block. What is this? Exception E. It is not innovative or no. It's an old one only. Print stack trace. Throw E. Throw E. Now I can develop what? Finally block. I can use finally block also to close our JDBC objects. To close JDBC objects. Now listen carefully what happened. While executing insert logic code as JDBC code to insert record. JDBC code to insert record. Tell me. Here exception came, guys. Control goes to catch block. Catch block, what I am saying, throw SC. It will throw the exception to service class. Service also either will not catch and handle the exception or rethrow the exception. So it will go to controller. Controller also do the same thing. It will go to client, and client happily receives the exception. By catching and handling that exception, it will display non-technical guiding message to end user or not. But that is not a issue. Problem raised in DAO, we are able to propagate to service to controller to client or not. So that means end user is giving inputs to client, getting output from client. If any problems are there, he is knowing through client only. If any problems are there, he is knowing through client only. I hope you enjoyed this discussion, boss. You thoroughly enjoyed this discussion or not? It's something like this, boss. Four levels of employees are there. Four levels of employees are there. CEO, what is that? Director, manager, supervisor, worker. Director, manager, supervisor, worker. Are you listening my statement? Okay, now let's see. Worker. Worker is working on a machine. Listen carefully. Some problem came in the machine. Okay, he suppressed the problem by afraiding management may scold. By afraiding management may scold. He suppressed the problem. He has hidden the problem. Do you think other people knows the problem? No. Then what happens, guys? One or other day, that small problem becomes big problem. Machinery stop working, and it will affect the production or not. Machinery stop working, and it will affect the production or not. So what he should do? Whenever problem comes in his machine, he should propagate to supervisor. Supervisor should propagate to manager. Manager should propagate to director. So director now will take the decision whether to replace the machinery or to repair the machinery. Suppose if you don't propagate, if you what? Suppress it. So do you think others will know it? If others are not aware of the problem, how they will solve the problem? How they will solve the problem? I hope you are understanding my point. Right, guys. In real time projects, how in real time projects, how exception raised in DAO class will be propagated to end user through client application. End user through client application. Yes. Okay, boss. Listen, boss. Listen. Finally, block executes irrespective of any condition. You know that. Even though throw statement execute, finally block executes. Come on, guys. What happened to your knowledge? Though throw statement execute, finally block executes. I hope everyone is aware of this. Yes, if you want, you can use a try with resource also. If you want, you can use a try with resource here. So where there is no need of writing finally block separately, boss. Okay. At the end of try block, all resources will be closed. All resources will be closed. Don't worry. How exception raised in DAO will be propagated to end user through client application. Yes, guys. What is the answer? Okay. In DAO, service controller classes don't just catch and handle the exception. Handle the exception. Okay. Either either uh, don't just okay. Either declare the exception, declare the exceptions to be to be thrown using throws class. Using throws class or 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 rethrow the using throws class solution one code or rethrow the exceptions from catch block from catch block. Solution 2 code. Rethrow the exception from catch block solution 2 code. So the exception raised in DAO DAO propagates propagates to service to controller to client application and the client application catches and handles the exception using try catch block to display exception related messages to end user as non-technical guiding messages. Guiding messages. I think you thoroughly enjoyed, guys. I'm going to implement all the three concepts, guys, in my next application. That's why I called it as a mini project. At least you understood why I called it as a mini project. There are layers. There is a data connectivity by using pooled connection. Okay. Ashish Singh, if client don't handle anyhow, client displays it. What is there in that? If client don't handle, then also client displays it. Okay, guys. Max, Mr. Vinay Kumar, max weight millisecond, 30,000 milliseconds is nothing but before giving connection object, pool waits for 30,000 milliseconds. If it is able to supply, it will supply. Otherwise, exception will be given. Exception will be given. Okay, that is max weight is different, sync frequency is different. Before sending error message, before sending error message to the client, I cannot give connection to you. It will wait for certain amount of time. That amount of time you mentioned there. Right. Srinath, con dot close is not closing connection. Con dot close in pulled connection is releasing connection. Is releasing connection. Okay, boss. Hmm. Sanjay, if you throw directly, client will understand. So, Sanjay, if you observe my last statement, catch block to display exception related messages to end user as non-technical guiding message. Sanjay, you are not following correctly to the class. Please observe. Vinay Kumar, con dot close will not close the connection. It will release the connection object back to the connection pool. Right. Sync frequency closes the connection. Con dot close releases the connection. Both are different. Sync frequency destroys the connections. Con dot close will release the connection back to the connection pool, and in the connection pool, another client may use it. Another client may use it. Understanding my statement? Okay. Thank you, guys. Tomorrow we don't have class. Tomorrow we don't have class. Next class will be on Wednesday. But Wednesday I may use Meven. Today entire holiday you spend for watching Meven videos. Watching Meven videos to please complete by tomorrow so that I can give this mini project in Meven itself. You want this mini project in Meven or non-Meven? You want this mini project in Meven or non-Meven environment? Yes, you want it in Meven? Please watch videos and come. At least 3 videos you watch and come. So that we can start using Meven in the classroom. What we will discuss in the next class, implementation of this one. Implementation of this one. Nageswar Rao, Meven PDF is there in the group. Type Meven in the file section, you will get it. Otherwise, I'll upload one more time. Don't worry. Right. Sumit, in microservices, we are going to work with Kibana kind of environment. Yes, in microservice, I will talk about that exception handling. Right. It is Meven. Don't pronounce it as Maven. Pronounce it as a Meven. Meven is a build tool. This Sunday 11 o'clock, we have a debugging class. Like these tools will come. Arun Kumar, why we limit connections to avoid the memory wastage? Okay, Srinath, notes issue in the Google Classroom is not sorted out. We are working on it. Till that time, please work on Facebook. Please work on Facebook. Srinivas, go to Naresh IT YouTube website. Type Meven by Natras sir. Just type Meven by Natras sir. You will get the URLs. Radhika, just type class name and docs in the Google. You will get the documentation. Okay, guys. Vasu, you will be knowing that one in the coming classes. Yes, these are the videos, boss. This is the URL. Just take it and use it. Yeah, from my side, session is over. Thank you. We'll meet on Wednesday. Have a nice time. Happy Ugadi. Please watch Mevin videos and come. And be mentally prepared to see some big things next class. Pavitra, generally in one project, one connection pool will be there for one database. If your project is dealing with multiple databases, there is a possibility of multiple connection pool. And everything is requirement specific, boss. Okay, boss. If this session will be 7 a.m. only. Only Sunday timings will be here and there. Only common topics, tools timings will be here and there. Okay, next mini project will be on Spring Boot environment, not on this. Next mini, I'm preparing background to launch Spring Boot. Got it? Right. Maven tool is integrated with Eclipse. You need not to install anything. Thank you guys. Have a nice time. Watch videos. You'll get to know everything.